Hello everyone! I am so excited to be filming my very first Q&A for you. So let's just get right into it. The first question is, how old am I? I am 27. How long have you and your hubby been together? John and I have been married for almost 6.5 years. How long have we been trying to conceive? There was a period of time where we weren't preventing pregnancy, if that makes sense. And then we were actively trying to conceive for almost a year when I became pregnant. Since the miscarriage, this is our 6th cycle. It hasn't been consecutive just because between March and like June we weren't really trying after the miscarriage happened. So yeah, I think it was June or July that we started trying again. So six months and then a whole other year. So over a year and a half at this point we have been trying to conceive. What are your hobbies? The first thing that comes to mind is I love to bake. I like baking cookies, cakes, brownies, pie. Baking is definitely my muse. Almost every weekend I throw on some music that I like and then I'll just bake whatever sounds good to me that day. So yeah, that's like my big hobby. I like to go for hikes. That's one thing John and I really love to do together, is going out for a nice hike somewhere. We live in Florida currently, so at least in our area there aren't too many places to hike, at least not like we're used to. We have a walking trail here in our neighborhood, so that's really nice. We walk that trail at least once a day. Sometimes we'll do 2 loops around the trail, but we miss the kind of hiking we're used to. We like to go to like a state park or a national park and hike up in the mountains and stuff like that. It's just where we are right now, we don't have that really close by. Another hobby, is watching movies a hobby? I feel like it can be. It's one of the things we love to do together, although we don't really go to the theater that much. We'll go to the movie theater and see like really big movies. This last Friday we went and saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which, oh my gosh, John and I are both huge Star Wars fans, and nope, don't worry, I'm not gonna give any spoilers or anything. We did both enjoy the movie. I know there's a bit of controversy going around with what people thought of the movie, but we both really enjoyed it. So for big movies like that, we'll go to the movie theater and see. But other than that, we're both kind of homebodies, and we would prefer to lay out on the couch and be comfortable in our home and pick a movie to rent that way. So yeah, watching movies together is one thing we love to do as well. Do I have a job? No, I don't have a job right now. We moved here to Florida back in March. For those of you who may not know, my husband is in the military, and yeah, so we just recently moved here earlier this year. And long story short, I have decided to go back to school. I'm starting school in January. Right after I got out of high school, I just went to community college and did 2 years of general education and then stopped. And I never went back. I didn't pick a major or anything like that. But I've decided to go back to school for photography, and I am so excited to get more into that. It's been a real struggle for me trying to figure out what I want to do career-wise. Since my husband is in the military, we are going to be moving around a lot, and I want something that can be easily transported with me wherever we go. And yeah, so I've decided to go back to school to get a degree in photography. I know that you don't necessarily have to have a degree to be a photographer, but since I already had 2 years of college under my belt, I figured I would just go for that. And I'll hopefully be done this time next year. Have you thought about doing vlogs? Yes, I have. Okay, so I've actually tried vlogging several times. And part of my issue is that I'm very camera shy. So I first created my YouTube channel back in April, and it took me months. Literally, I filmed over and over and over and over again a video to be like my first YouTube video ever, and I kept deleting it, and then I would refilm it and then delete it and refilm it and delete it, and I just got to the point where I realized I'm not going to be perfect at this. And I finally uploaded just the really quick welcome to my channel video back in July. And I am still camera shy. I have learned all of this on my own. I am still learning and growing and finding what is comfortable for me with this. So I am by no means a professional at filming or anything like that. So it's been a huge learning curve for me. And yeah, so like I said, I have tried vlogging. A couple weekends ago, I tried doing a weekend vlog, and I just ended up forgetting about it, and then it just turned out to be quite a mess. So I'm hoping this next year I will get more comfortable and be able to put out some vlogs. I think just like with starting my channel in general, it's just gonna get to the point where I need to know that I'm not gonna be a perfect vlogger. I think I would like to start doing some weekend vlogs here and there, and just see how that goes. I think it's just something I need to do, and over time I'll get better with it. So hopefully this coming year you'll get to see more vlog style videos from me. What has been the hardest part of your TTC journey? The hardest part, I think, aside from month after month of disappointment, the hardest part has definitely been the miscarriage I went through. Finding out I was pregnant, like that first pregnancy test that I had a positive, it just changed everything for me. Like instantly, I was just so relieved. Like finally I am pregnant after this entire year almost of trying. We were finally pregnant, and one of the first things I told John was, I am so glad to be done with trying to conceive. I'm so glad to not have periods for the next 9 months. I'm so excited to just watch my body change and grow, and I was just so ready to be done with trying to conceive. So not only that, but just actually going through the miscarriage was really difficult for me. Like I said earlier in this video, we just moved here in March, and I found out I was pregnant the week before we moved. I went through my miscarriage in the middle of our move. We were in like the middle of nowhere when it started happening, and we drove all day through, and the place we stopped was somewhere in Mississippi, and it was just really hard for me in general. I was in a lot of pain, and we were in a strange place that I had never been, and our experience at the hospital overall was awful, and all I wanted to do was go home, and we didn't necessarily have a home to go to because we were literally in the middle of our move. And then yeah, so the actual miscarriage happening was really difficult, and then we finally made it here to Florida, and it was just really hard. I mean, we were in a new place, I didn't know anyone, I met a lot of people like right away when we first moved, and one of the questions that people always ask, you know, when you're meeting someone is, oh, do you have any kids? And that was hard for me because it was like every day I would meet someone and I would be reminded of, like, someone would ask me, oh, do you have any kids? And sometimes I couldn't even answer them because I was so like overcome with grief. So yeah, definitely the miscarriage was the hardest part of this journey so far. So the next question is, do you have a favorite Bible verse that you cling to in the difficult times or to remind you of God's faithfulness? Yes, I do. The first one that comes to mind is Romans 12:12, which is rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer. that one has been on my mind, especially the last 6 months. I have like a little album here on my phone of encouraging words and phrases and things. I have this other quote on here that I look at like almost every day, and it's not from the Bible. It's a quote by Sarah Rolandini. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her last name. And the quote is, when you can't see what God is doing, you can trust that His heart for you is to give His very best to you. Your wait is temporary, and what's waiting for you at the end will be worth it. And every time I read that quote, like, I swear I read it on a daily basis, and each time I like get emotional. Especially that your wait is temporary, and what's waiting for you at the end will be worth it. And sometimes it's hard to see that. And someone else asked a similar question. How do you combat the weekly disappointment? This whole YouTube thing that I've started here with my channel, that has been really helpful. Just being able to talk to some of you who are going through something similar by me sharing my story and you sharing yours with me. It has been actually really helpful for me, just in the sense that it reminds me that I'm not alone. The word hope is always in my mind. I'm just holding on to hope that I will become pregnant one day and I will have a baby, and hopefully multiple babies at some point. And yeah, honestly, it's just holding on to hope, holding on to my faith, and having a really loving and supportive husband who also wants the same things as I do. So I just take it day by day. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the big picture and how long we've been trying and how much longer is it going to take us, and it can be very overwhelming. So I just try to take it day by day and say lots of prayers throughout those days. The last question I'm going to answer is, what is the next step in this journey for you? I am hoping to be seen by an OBGYN here in the new year. Since we moved here, I haven't been seen by an OBGYN. I've only been seen by a general practitioner. So the next step is to hopefully here within the first few months of this new year that I can be seen by an OBGYN, and then from there just take whatever her recommendation is, whether that's, I don't know, starting Clomid or being referred to a fertility specialist. I don't know, but I'm hoping that sooner rather than later we can find some answers. Again, thank you to all of you who sent in your questions for me to answer. I really had a lot of fun doing this, and hopefully I'll get to do more Q&As in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.